Sairam.
Sairam. For folks who are on the Zoom, can I ask you to just say something, just because I want to see if it's going to be a problem with our with the audio issues.
Sairam Bhavani, we can. I can hear you and see the screen very well.
Okay, there is Sairam. So there is
Sairam,
no back. Okay, good. Sai Prashant is here
yeah.
too, right? Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay, Jai Sairam. Okay, I just want to confirm. All right. Sounds good. Thank you both for joining. Sairam, we will start the study circle in 2 minutes. Sairam, let's start the study circle with 3 ohms. Om. Om. Dear Swami, we are so grateful to be able to meet here together in your presence today. While we are here together studying your word in your Bhagavata Vahini, we ask that you open our ears and hearts to whatever it is you want us to learn. Please speak through each one of us and help us progress in our spiritual journey. Jai Sai Ram. Sairam, everyone. Wishing all a very happy Guru Purnima. And before we go into our discussion, just a reminder to mute your cell phones and let's be respectful and speak from our hearts and listen with humility. Thank you. And so, just a review from last session. We had an energetic session last week, talking about the states of being. We talked about waking, sleeping, and deep sleep. We listened to a guided meditation and speech of sorts by Swami Sarvapriyananda. It was a Vedantic Om meditation that we had worked on as an activity, and we discussed, about the states, about there being 3 states and an overarching Turiya, which is the true immanent self and all, and then Turiya being the seeker, of all states, and then is the seer of all three states. Waking, basically, we also connected the waking to the gunas. We said waking goes is basically looking outwards, and has all three gunas. The dream state is going inwards with an agitated mind, so it's mostly a rajoguna dominant, and deep sleep where there is nothing to reflect, so it is dark, and that's where tamoguna is prominent, because mostly out of ignorance, that's what we call the deep sleep state at this, and only in the waking state we have talked about that one can distinguish the turiya, the real self, and it has to be intentional practice to realize that. And we talked a lot about how uh, all our perceptions are assessed based on the waking state only. Obviously, in the dream state, we are not aware of our body, and in deep sleep, we are not aware of neither the body nor the mind. So waking state is all we have to recognize ourselves and work towards it. Then we moved on to talking about nirvana and moksha and other such terminologies, I would call it. But basically talking about how even moksha is temporary, and that was something that I actually dug into this week just out of curiosity. But it was interesting to know, having the jnanam or the knowledge, that you just have it, and after that, once the knowledge is acquired, we talked about how the karma is just burnt after that, and we gave examples, Ramana Maharishi and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and of course there was a deep discussion about the steps to take, to practice this, and the consistency that is so important, to actually attain that level of moksha even. We then moved along to talking about knowing versus awareness, basically talking about practical experience being more important than just knowing. And then moved along to the three yogas of bhakti, karma, and jnana, and how they help, and how controlling the mind is what we should be focused on, choosing the right things, and also unity of thought, word, and action. And of course, we ended the study circle talking about yearning and how that is the most important. I know I said a lot. If there is anything anyone wants to add, please feel free.
So technically, this is not correct. Moksha is temporary. That's not correct.
Okay.
There are different kind of muktis explained in Vedas, but out of all the 5 kind of muktis, there is a mukti called Kaivalya Mukti that is equivalent to moksha. It is permanent. It's not temporary. There was some misunderstanding the last week, so that needs to be corrected. And the dream state is not going inwards. Not going inwards. It is just a state in which
the mind is active.
Yeah, but it's
Okay,
when we
yeah,
say
yeah.
going inwards is not correct.
Yeah, I got it.
So yeah, these two things. And moksha is not temporary. Moksha is permanent. Once we achieve it, we don't go to and fro between moksha and the regular world.
All right. Anyone else?
I was just thinking, it's not related to anything deep. I was just thinking about comparing the dream and the waking state. See, the dream is very personal.
Yeah.
You may dream about so many other people in your dream, but they are not existent. If you ask them, they don't know anything about your dream. They are not participating in the dream. Whereas in the waking state, when I see this harmonium, there are everybody else who sees this harmonium. So waking state is with everybody, whereas dream state is personal. So there is a challenge that is given in the waking state where you have to deal with multiple people
and
then
unity.
seek that.
Yeah.
Whereas in the dream state, you don't have any choice. You don't even have any control over what dream you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whatever happens in the dream is completely not in your control.
Yeah.
This is a very deep concept in Vedanta. It seems like wake state, we are sharing it, but everyone's drishti is different. So there's a philosophy of saying, there's a bigger one, jaisi drishti, vaisi srishti. The way we visualize at things, we make our own perceptions. So it seems like we are seeing the same thing, but all of us are still seeing it differently in this room also.
Yeah, I was thinking in that same.
Yeah,
yeah,
Saira.
exactly.
Anyone else want to add something? Anyone online want to say something before we move on?
Yeah, Sairam, I kind of got logged out and logged back on, so I missed a little bit.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, but I want to clarify this about the moksha part. I don't want to explain too much about it. There
Please.
are different lokas. I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that if you get the Brahma Jnana, you don't come back. But
Yeah.
there are other ways of, in ancient time also, they were doing all the yajnas to get benefits in this loka and the up beyond this loka, like paraloka also.
Correct.
So that is how they did. It is in the Upanishad and other things. So they do go to different lokas are there, different places. So they
Yeah.
go there and then see when we get in this life, what we do is we are just using only part of our karma here. We are not working out all the karmas. Okay. So that way we do have some unfinished business, so to say. So
correct.
there is a lot to
Yeah, I heard the
read
same.
about it. Yes, I don't want to go into a lot of details.
Yeah, that I don't
Right.
think that is today's
No,
topic anyway.
see,
But
yes, even avatars come. Why? Because they have already reached the final stage, but still they come as avatar to do good things, right? So it is not that there are people that avatars come and do in that bulaka to achieve whatever it is their purpose. They do come
yeah,
back.
right.
So in that sense, it is makes sense. Also that once you realize the Brahman part of it, and
There
then
is
you
nothing
don't.
else.
Yes, there is nothing because you are that being merged with
Yes.
it. That's what
Yeah.
I was saying last week. Okay, Saira.
Yeah. Sairam, thank you. All right, let's move on. Today, I thought we should talk about the next topic. Again, we are still on chapter 31, and from next week, we will move along to the next chapters. But this actually came from Shukha explains to King Parikshit that Kala is a manifestation born out of Maya or illusion. So with that, wanted to actually talk about Kala, what it means. We use this English term, time, that is really it doesn't give the dimension of what we are talking about. So if it is a manifestation born out of Maya, is time a fixed reality, or does it exist only as part of our perception? Since we just brought that up also, is it shaped by our illusion, or is it really existent? And then of course that moves on to defining past, present, and future. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Sairam. See, if you just compare with the dream state, there, whatever may you if you recall any dream that you got, the concept of time is really very shaky there. You will be in one house, and the next second you will be in somewhere else, and then you won't know how you got there. But then the whole situation may change, and you we have all seen that one. So the concept of time does not exist the same as what we have in the waking state. In the waking state, if we look at it, what is constant among all the living and non-living things is time. We all have the same 24 hours.
Correct.
And so that is uh, not changing between any life form. Whereas when you, let's say in the next stage, if you can extend this, maybe there is no concept of time there. So this, if you take the waking state as that which is dictated by body mind complex, which is nothing but the Maya that is creating that. then this concept of time is only attached to Maya. And if you go beyond this, there is no concept of Maya, and therefore there is no concept of time. That's the I think that there is no concept of time once you leave this living state. That's what I think. I don't know, but we can't talk about the next state
No,
with any
the only
authority.
reason why I think it's important to understand it is because a lot of us, in fact, the first time when you talk about Swami or any guru, we are all looking at miracles, what we call as miracles. But it is that movement in time and space that the gurus have that ability to do. And in that concept, we should understand the difference between what we refer to as time and someone who is kalatita. Why are they that? And, how does that time define for them? And that is why we want to go beyond that whole idea of miracle. Yeah.
If we can if we talk about avatars, for example, Swami, I don't know about other avatars.
Exactly.
Swami, he has clearly proved that when he is among all of us, he is bound by that time. But he can easily go beyond the time. He has proven that many times. For example, I know that he gave a watch to somebody. I mean, he produced a watch and gave it to somebody, and then that person found out that it was made in South Africa, and then he was curious as to how Swami was able to get the watch from South Africa and watch here to me right there. So then he calls and he finds that in that shop that a person came with the orange robe and with the afro hair, came and bought it, and that's what the shopkeeper says. So it all happens in a fraction of a second. How does that happen? It's because he's Kalati. So what I am trying to say is there are people who can cross that time boundary, and probably if Kala is attached to Maya, that's probably because the Maya is under their control, and so they can go beyond the time.
Sairam.
Sairam. Yeah, please go
So
ahead, Shankar.
I tried to get to this point last week, but let me make one more attempt. So as we progress in the dream state, we see things we cannot clearly put, things are very clear. I mean, the objects, at least in the dream, seemed very real at that time. And as soon as we wake up, they all go away. But then we come to the waking state. Everything here is real. I mean, we see the time, yes, 24 hours a day is there. Objects are real. Everything seems very real. And yet, if we go beyond this and then say that this is only the period of time when you are in existence here, and in this physical body, using all these senses that you see this, but all these are being seen by the background consciousness, and that consciousness is permanent. And for the moment we realize that that is the one we are, then all this time and objects, all these things go away. That is when you realize that all these things are illusion and Maya. So the time is also a manifestation of that, because we are measuring by our life here, and we do not know about what we did before, and we do not know what we are going to do after this. But within this time, we try to kind of project it as, throughout the thing. That's why it's a Maya. Sairam.
So time is linear, basically.
Sairam.
That's not clear. Linear versus a circle versus a spiral. I mean, we are presuming it's linear. It might be just a circle. There's a story of Krishna's birth in which there was, forgive me if I don't connect it properly, the eighth child will kill Kansa.
Yeah.
So Narada said, it's mentioned in Bhagavat actually. So eighth starting from where? Eighth child starting from where? That was the idea. So I mean, I forgot the exact serial of it. So it was not exactly the eighth one, but the theory was that maybe it was eighth counting from here or eighth counting from here. So which child will kill cancer?
Yeah.
So that was the concept of it can be not linear, it can be circle also.
And Sairam, see, even though from a clock standpoint, we all have 24 hours. Depending upon the state of our mind, the time stretches or shrinks. For example, you're deeply involved in a work, you don't even realize that, oh my God, 4 hours have gone by. Okay, so what happened to the time? The time was still, the clock time was still 4 hours. But in your mind, you had probably worked only for half an hour or 1 hour in your mind, and 4 hours have gone by. The opposite. So suppose you're not you don't have anything productive going on. You are an urge to go somewhere. You feel like time is stretching. Oh my God, why is it not ending?
Yeah.
So it's perception. Even though clockwise there is 24 hours, that's constant. The mind also changes the perception of time.
But that is okay. So that is something based on a feeling, but practically too, time just keeps going forward. It never goes back for
Agree.
us.
Yeah, agree. Yeah.
For all of us. So why? I mean, so today and if I have done something right now, after this 1 second is passed, the next second is already the future of what I am doing. We also, I think, time is important to realize because we don't have unlimited amount of time. What we are doing or on this earth, our birth is the number of breaths. Once that count of breath is gone, at least that's what it says. The number of breaths that you have taken. Once you run out of the number of breaths, you have to get your new clothes back on. So how do we as spiritual seekers relate to time with wisdom? I mean, we know this, but how should we relate on a daily basis? Feeling bored is yes, but that's a feeling. But we need to kind of bring something to our lives.
So time, as Venkaji mentioned, is 24 hours a day in this loka. If you read Garud Puran, they explain about various lokas and the time period in different lokas also. Brahma's one day is much longer. There was a joke. Person said, "Oh, Lord Brahma, for you all this wealth is equivalent to what? A penny?" He said, "Yes, so please give me a penny." He said, "Okay, wait for one day.
Yeah.
Wait for one day." So his 1 day. So see, when you're comparing for our benefit, the whole property
nice.
for a penny,
Yeah.
he said, wait for one day. One day is like so many yugas for us. So it's different in different lokas, number one. Number two, you mentioned about that evolution process.
Yes.
So it is a continuous evolution process. We are just changing bodies. So it is in that manner for us. Being in human body, this is the best opportunity to get the best spiritual elevation during this time only. Otherwise, wherever we will leave, we'll start from there. So it is still a continuous process till we reach the moksha.
So what is that concept of, I mean, so we are bound by time?
We might not get this opportunity again. That's what binding is.
Yeah.
Very limited time. We have very limited time. We don't know which karma will bring us to a dog's yoni, to next life. Which karma will bring us into another 8-legged insect yoni. So this is the time. That's why so it is a philosophy. It's a bigger thing to make us do it fast as soon as possible. Not to keep waiting. We'll do it in the old age. We'll do it later. Let me go to this. Let me become a doctor first. Let me do this first. Let me do this first. We'll do this later. No, this is the first thing to be done. That's it.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, see, time is what? Is it man-made? Right? When did it start?
Time started long ago. I mean, when
Right.
Krishna says time has been going on forever and ever, that is the only constant. Kala is the only constant.
Kala, the time. See, God, if you speak of God, God is beyond time, right? Kala Tita.
Yes.
He he, for us, the time is like past, present, and future, kind of a linear or circular, whatever you want to
Right.
call. That's
Yeah.
all. With our experience, human experience, that is how we understand time, right? But for God's time, He transcends time. When Venkat was talking about in South Africa, Swami was
Yeah.
showing.
Mm-hmm.
See, see, I said God is He transcends time, but at the same time, He also engages with us, with the world,
Yeah. Yeah.
and right, and then the framework of our time, and He does these miracles, and this is called God's timing. If you are going to talk divine timing and our
Yeah.
timing, there's a lot of
Yeah.
difference, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, which God's time may not align with our timing, right? What
Yeah.
is our timing? Ours is always very personal. We have our own agenda, or our
Yeah.
personal desires,
Mm.
whatever we want to achieve in this time frame. I want to do this, I want to achieve this. These are our timelines, right?
Mm-hmm.
But God has His own time plan that we need to understand. Things will happen in His own time. It's very different,
Right.
right?
So the only thing that we can do is basically wait for
Yes, right,
Keep
right.
waiting. Why wait
for
for
any
what?
wait for us to grow or
Effort.
achieve.
Effort has to come today.
So
Effort has.
See, effort should be
Yes.
there, but we have
no,
to have the
I
understanding
need you
also.
to take the mic.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to have the understanding that there is a higher power, believe in that and say, okay, what is happening, it will be, beneficial for me. But we do our efforts. But then we are so attached to the outcome. Then we become very impatient. We get frustrated, right?
Right. Right.
And
Mhm.
we want to control the outcome. We want to control the events. And then that leads to anxiety, sleepless nights.
So if we see time as part of God's Leela, or
Mhm.
his, then how should it affect us? I mean, how do we interpret uh, all of that then? There should be no joy,
No,
no
not.
sorrow, because
Oh,
that's God's will, right? So He's going to do
see, right. See, I was reading that when we think God says no to our
yes,
plan or something
yeah,
doesn't go the way,
yeah, yeah,
then I think Swami only said this. He says, don't take it as God saying no to you,
yeah,
but take it as there is a different, better plan He has for you,
yeah. I know.
gently
So
directing you towards the better path. That is, see, how we take it is how we live our life or how much it affects our life. Okay, we need to have trust and patience, and we have to have,
faith,
surrender and say, okay, this is happening now or it is not happening now, and we have to have that trust. What is happening is good for me, whatever way it is happening.
correct. That's
All we can do is try. All we can do is try our best and do our best, everything, hope our best. Ultimately
right.
it happens to
Yeah.
divine will.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Please go
Sai
ahead,
Ram,
Venkat. Oh,
so I want to just add also here, ultimately all this, the concept of time, perception, all these things are going to exist as we go through the cycle of birth and death. So you cannot escape them. So in each birth, there is a limitation of time, limitation of perception. And that is why, like Uma said, we need to dedicate our life now to say everything is good for you so that ultimately you can get this knowledge that you are not this body and mind concept and get the liberation and get the moksha. At that point, time ceases, the real objective world ceases, Maya ceases. So I think that is the whole approach that we need to take. That ultimately that is the goal, and that can be realized, not after death, not after after
it
some
can be
time.
really
It can be
right.
as realized today. That's what we have to
Yes.
be, really persevering. Not that
Yeah.
I'm really persevering, I am going anywhere near that, but I think that is
Yeah.
the goal.
Yeah. Sairam, please go ahead, Venkat.
Sairam. See, two things. This 24 hours is only in this earth. The moment you go to space, there is nothing like a 24 hours. It's just because the earth is spinning, that is why we have a day and night, and that's why this 24 hours come. For example, if it is a biological clock, they have done some experiments and they have found that we are more like 26 hours or 30 hours per day. So that is the cycle, biological cycle. It's a biological clock itself is different from the earth-based clock.
Right.
But even otherwise, if we go to the space, if we were to live in Mars, for example, then our day will be totally different. So the time, what I'm trying to say is the time is only in this earth. As long as we are born in this earth, we are going to have this time. The other thing you were talking about joy and so what I was thinking was that has got nothing to do with, see, just because we are in the spiritual path, that doesn't mean that we should not enjoy anything that is good that is happening. And we have to cut off all the joy that we are. It's not that. Yeah. So we should be able to enjoy. Only thing is with the thing in the back of our mind that this is going to be temporary. This the joy that you get from this body-mind complex is temporary. And that doesn't mean that you don't enjoy anything. For example, your sweets. Swami distributes sweets. Everybody likes, most of us like sweets. So he distributes sweets. That doesn't mean that you don't eat sweets because this sweet is a temporary joy I get. So I should not eat sweet. It's not like that. Yeah. That's what I.
Very good point, Saira. Let me just go down to discourse by Swami on time. And we'll discuss this. All things happen according to the dictates of time. Both good and bad depend on time. Prosperity and poverty likewise depend on time. Time is the determinant of all things. There is none who is not subject to time in this entire world. That's the truth. Embodiments of divine Atma. Time is the embodiment of God. Hence, time is called Samvatsara. The sages have described God as Kala Rupaya, the embodiment of time. All things in the cosmos, moving and unmoving, are permeated by God. Hence, God is characterized as Kala Garbha, the one who holds time in the womb. The word Kalam is derived from Ka plus Alam. This means that God, embodiment of time, is the one who rewards people according to their deserts. God does not submit to worldly offerings, worldly authority, or worldly power. He responds only to spiritual aspirations. All the accomplishments and acquisitions in this world are transient and impermanent. Lured by them, men get inflated and ultimately court ruin. Hence, giving up the notions of one's own doership, man must regard God alone as the doer. He is the giver. He is the recipient and he is also the object that is given. Time is the very form of God. Birth and death are encompassed by time. Everyone, therefore, should regard time as divine and utilize it for performing sacred actions. You should not waste a single moment. Time wasted is life wasted. The fruits of your actions are determined by time. All your experiences are the results of your actions, whether it is happiness or sorrow, affluence or poverty. Hence, good and bad depend on what you do. As your actions, so are the fruits thereof. The way you utilize your time determines the outcome. Sairam, this is a short discourse. Of course, this is a long one. I actually cut it to just the only para that he talked about Kala or the importance of time. So what does it mean when he says time is God? The rest of the questions pretty much come to the same, I guess, basic question of what does it mean to say time is God and how can we spiritually relate to time instead of seeing, do we need to see the clock and calendar now? Because we know time is spiritually related. That's a joke. But anyway, I did put that as a joke. But anyway, sorry, I wanted to put a smiley there, but I forgot that main part. So anyway, what does it mean to say time is God? Just like Swami is saying.
I was not that question, but I was thinking about time waste.
Yeah.
What does it mean by wasting time?
Mm.
What do you consider as a waste of time? Anything that you any time that you spend towards your worldly body mind complex, in my opinion, is a waste of time. But you got, for example, you are focusing on the catering to the senses, okay, which is the body mind. So that can be construed as a waste of time. So I think if we analyze, that is what can be construed as waste of time, because time is constant, right? So it's not like money where you have $5 here and you spend $2 and you have only $3 left. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's the same 24 hours for everybody.
Right.
So it's not like what does it mean by wasting time? Wasting time, in my opinion, is instead of spending the time to question yourself or progress in your spiritual path towards self-realization, if you spend time to cater to the senses and more dwell on the body-mind complex, that will be considered as a waste of time. That's what I think.
Anyone
Saira,
else?
so
Yes.
I agree with you, Venkat. I mean, that's exactly the mission and goal. If you see the, mission of Satya Sai Baba centers, that's what he says. Why are we here in life? It is to find the divinity within us. So anything else that we do is a waste of time. So in that context, so, what we do and use our time is towards the divinity. That means time is God. So that's how I relate time in this case.
So we have seen that whenever we want to emphasize on something, give importance to something, we try to relate it to God. So probably that is the reason time is considered as the most important thing and considered equivalent to God. Time is God. To give it importance, not to waste it. You are wasting it, that means you are insulting God.
Okay.
And you are insulting your life. I mean, the time given to you. So that's where to emphasize the importance of time, they have made it equivalent to God. Like different Upanishads, different concept will come. And in some places, Anna is equivalent to God. In some places, they have, various examples, sun is equivalent to God. So to emphasize anything, in that particular Upanishad, they try to emphasize it equivalent to God always. If you want to go back on the previous page, please. There was a very important point in this, in the discourse. Uh, uh, the time wastage is life wasted. Yeah. So to give it that much of importance, highest importance, that's why they call it equivalent to God. And above where it was written that food, what we is also God, and
Not this one, but
not in
that
this
was
one.
the other one.
That
Yeah.
yeah.
This is
Okay,
talking about
God does submit to does not submit to worldly offerings, worldly authority, or worldly power.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I missed that somewhere. So yeah, no, I lost it. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. He is the giver and he is the recipient. That was I wanted to emphasize on this part. He is
Yes.
the giver and he is the recipient and he is the object also. This is the meaning of the shloka which we read every day. Brahm Arpanam, Brahm Havir,
Yes.
Brahm Agno, Brahmahutam.
Yeah.
So Brahm is offering to Brahman.
Yeah.
The offering itself is Brahman.
Yes.
So that was just trying to correlate this sentence to that.
Very nice. Thank you. Yep. Very nice. Yeah. So yeah, so with that, so what is the relationship? So does anyone else have something to say online? Because I was going to go for the illusion of doership. I called it illusion. And so please go ahead.
Saira.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean,
I
if she
someone was
wants,
saying
I
online. Yeah.
think me. See, we also hear of waste of energy, right? That is what I think. The annam is basically energy.
Okay.
Waste of energy is also energy is God. we all know that energy, matter, they're all God, and time is also God. See, this water is one example where we say waste of water, right? Don't waste water. If we analyze what happens, the water in this world is never going to change. It's constant. It's in different forms, in different places. But the total water, if you look at it in the earth, it's never going to change. So, but what do we mean by waste of water? It's actually waste of energy. The energy that is spent in bringing that water to you is what is being wasted. Similarly, when you waste food, the food that the Swami says that when you each and every this one, you have to think about how much effort has gone in by the farmers in getting that food to you. So that is why that food becomes God. So everything, if we analyze, if we go deeper, there is we cannot but attach it as God. That's how I.
So,
I'm digressing for 1 minute only because it's important. Wastage of anything, food, bread comes for less than $1. Just because I can afford it, I'll buy it and throw it. How much effort? How much effort is behind one slice of bread? How much effort? The farmers went day in and day out to the fields, that grains, and then you pluck it and then do all that, and then that flour is made, and flour, and then your dough is made. Such a big effort, such a big effort. Even human efforts. Thinking about the bigger natural effort, that's much bigger than that. So wastage. Coming back to the point of wastage, just because it is so cheap for us, we dishonor that importance of it. There's a huge effort behind it. So one should not be wasting any food, water, or all these things.
So coming down to what we can learn from this, right? Because I don't think I have too much time today. I only have 10 more minutes. So how much of our time is consciously used for spiritual growth? Is that what we consider as time not wasted, time being utilized? And then if that is the case, what are the common traps of time wasting in today's world that we can actually avoid? Not really. I use my phone for listening to Swami's discourses. I've learned a lot about, I mean, I will argue with that. Satish ji, get your mic, please. People are not getting the joke.
Yeah, I don't think we can attach anything to the devices. It's all mental. I mean,
How we use it.
in our own mind.
How
So yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So, as Venkatji is saying, sorry to cut him off, but yes, it
please
is
go
all. I believe it is always mental entity to how to cut off time waste. The main thing would be deviating ourselves and because of the comparison. So let us consider spiritual time utilization. Okay, so if we are to achieve something, right, and we sit, we work hard for that, and finally we get a result positive, that is the complete utilization of time, right? And that we have to be aware of two stages. One, while we do that thing, and the second thing is while we get the result. So we have to always be aware of these two stages. And the deviation part, so the deviation part comes from comparison. I mean, when we always compare to others and look at others, what they are up to, or what is going out of our control, and we think about it, we waste our moments, we waste our energy on that. So we waste the time and we will not get the result. So as per my point of view, comparison to the outer world is a huge waste of time. Yeah, introspection. I mean, instead of comparing to what's being done in the outer world, just we need to talk ourselves, sit ourselves, and work through our goals. Let it be any goal. Let it be achieving spirituality. Let it be talking about moksha or anything. Let it be talking about Swami or study circle, or might be if you want to enjoy a family vacation, that is to be done, that is to be completed at that point of time. So as I always say, if we sit in study circle and think of something other, something of the other, it is of no use. That is what always Swami said. And this is my perception. And I have a small suggestion. Apparently today morning I was watching Swami's videos. I don't know the discussion would be on time today, but I watched a video today where Swami went to open the Radio Sai Media Center in Patti.
Yes.
And Swami sits with 15 students and explains about time. The whole concept, the whole questions we raised now were answered by Swami in that 5-minute video. So if anyone gets time, just go visit YouTube and type Swami visiting Radio Center, and this is the perfect answer that we will get.
Sure. I will definitely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sai Ram.
Does anyone? Yes, please go ahead.
So one thing that Prashant mentioned, and I'm just trying to recall what I wanted to say. I think I missed the sequence. Sorry. So let me undo.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I have a small video to show. Can we watch that is on time. When I say time, this is on Swami's omniscience, and it's
the roof. I have tried it on a couple of occasions, sometimes unconsciously, that's okay, but sometimes I have tried it consciously, and it is in that process of trying to outwit Swami that I learned about the greatest weakness that he has. And naturally, since it is his greatest weakness, that should become our greatest strength as well. Let me go through that beautiful incident. It was, well, let me confess that it was not beautiful when it happened. Today when I look back, it is so beautiful. It was the year 1999, and that was the time when Sai Kulwant Hall was undergoing some modifications. The roof was being plated with gold sheets. If you come to Sai Kulwant Hall today and look up, you will see that there is a beautiful background of green with gold plated designs. That was being done in the year 1999, and therefore darshans were shifted to the Purnachandra auditorium. Now, in the month of June, when my birthday came, I had this desire that I wanted Swami to sign my photograph. I had this feeling that when it is somebody's birthday, Swami cannot afford to disappoint them. And therefore, if I take the photograph that I had clicked for him to sign on my birthday, Swami will not be able to refuse me. This was my intelligence. Okay, this was my intelligence playing. So on my birthday, I was seated right in the front in the Purnachandra auditorium, right where Swami gets down from the stage using the steps. I was seated there in the first line, and I was sure that once Swami blesses me, he will sign my photograph. This was a photograph I had taken of Swami during the Shivratri in 1999. I had made it into a big 40 inches by 60 inches, no, 30 inches by 40 inches, and I thought Swami will sign it. Swami came, blessed all of us birthday boys who were seated there, and he began to sign photographs for the birthday boys. I was thrilled. He signed for the first boy, the second one, I was the third. When he came to me, he took the marker, opened the cap, pulled on the photograph to sign, but then suddenly he had a change of mind. So he just replaced the cap, gave me the pen, walked away. And I was disappointed and surprised. Why didn't Swami sign my photograph? I'm also a birthday boy and I'm seated here. Well, that was just the beginning. Because I returned back to the hostel disappointed, and I thought that I have to get this photograph signed. So the next day also I went to the warden and I said that there's a very important photograph that I want Swami to sign. So can I sit in the front? The warden gave me a special chit. If we had to go before the lines, go to the mandir to sit early in the front, you had to take a special chit from the warden. So this chit would usually be given in case of some emergency or urgent needs or birthday, somebody is sick, something like this. So I took that chit and went, but I sat in the front with the birthday boys because I thought, let me fool Swami into, when he's signing for the birthday boys, let him sign for me. That was my idea. That day when Swami came to sign the photographs, he signed everybody's, and he looks at me and he says, hey, not birthday boy. Tells me to go back. I was in my mind thinking, Swami, this is unfair because when it was my birthday, you didn't sign. And today you're telling it's not my birthday. But I was not the one to give up easily. So I thought, let me continue with my persistence. Let me see how longer Swami will push me away. So 2-3 more days, I took this permission slip to get my photograph signed and kept sitting with the birthday boys. And every day Swami did not look towards my photograph or sign the photograph. And he would just say, "You're not birthday boy." Now it happened so much that one day when I went to the warden to ask for another chit, another slip to sit in the front, he told me, "I have been seeing that Swami has not been signing your photographs from so many days. So just take a break. Give it a break. Don't pester Swami like this." Thus stopped my bringing the photo to the mandir and trying to get it blessed and signed. I was thinking, what did I do wrong? And intelligence, always this mind gives wrong ideas. Let me tell now itself that don't ever try to outsmart or outwit God with intelligence. People have tried. Hiranyakashipu tried. He said, "Lord, I should not be killed." He asked Brahma, "I should not be killed inside or outside. I should not be killed in daylight or night. I should not be killed by animal or man." And he thought he had covered everything so that he can be immortal. But then came the Narsimha avatar and finished him off. Same thing happened with Ravana and so many demons. Anybody who tries to outwit God with their head and intelligence don't realize that they are trying to take a fight with somebody who is the creator of that intelligence. And I was also there in that list along with Hiranyakashipu and Ravana and all. I was thinking, I made a mistake. Now I will outwit Swami. And what did I do? I began to pray sincerely to Swami. "Swami, please accept a letter from me. Please take my letter from me. Please take my letter from me." And I did this prayer for a week or 10 days, and I felt that now if I give a letter, Swami will definitely accept it because it is backed by so much of my prayer. Now in the letter, I wrote the letter, and in the end I wrote, "P.S. Swami, if you take this letter from me, you are giving me a promise that tomorrow you will sign this photograph for me." And I thought with this I will have trapped Swami. And interestingly, Swami that day took my letter from my hand, and I was thrilled. I was like, "Swami, I gotcha. I got you, and you can't escape this." So the next day, as I got ready for darshan, I realized that our class was going last because there's a rotation. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th was the order that day, because one class goes first, one day. So I was in the 12th grade and our class was going last, and I felt, oh my God, I had told Swami that I will get the photograph for him and he has to sign it. But if I'm not able to keep my end of the deal, that is take my photograph to him, then I can't blame him. And how can I take my photograph to him if I'm seated somewhere in the back? So I again went to the warden to ask for a permission slip. He refused to give me the permission slip. He said, "See, you give some more time. Swami has not signed it continuously for so many days. You wait for some more time." I said, "No sir, I have this strong feeling that Swami will sign it today." He said, No, I feel you should wait for some more time. Do you think you know better or I know better?" In my mind, I was feeling that I know better, but you better not say such things to your warden or elders. So I just kept quiet, and I felt disappointed, and I went to the mandir. Now, interestingly, on that same day, before the darshan in Purnachandra Auditorium, Swami had walked across to the adjacent Kulwant Hall to supervise the work going on there. And at such times, the rule was among the students that whichever class is coming last, they will not be getting a front place to sit during the darshan. Therefore, whichever class is coming last can sit in the corridor between the Kulwant Hall and Purnachandra Auditorium, in that passage, so that they can get a good darshan as Swami is returning back after supervising the works. And therefore, since our class was last, I got to sit actually along the path, first line, when Swami was in the Kulwant Hall waiting to return to the Purnachandra Auditorium. And I felt, oh my God, I should have got my photograph. I missed. Again, I made a mistake because I had not got the photograph because I thought there's no chance of it getting signed. Again, I did the mistake of using my intelligence. I said, the mistake was I had prayed to Swami that if you take this letter, tomorrow you will be signing the photograph. So now I wrote another letter in which I wrote, "P.S. Swami, if you take this letter, it means that within the next 1 month you will sign my photograph." I thought 1 month is a good enough time to trap him. And that day as Swami was coming, he saw all of us seated along the carpet there. The moment he saw us, he said, "I'm going to go by the other gate." Everybody shouted, "Swami, please, Swami, come this way. Swami, please, Swami, please." Then Swami obliged. He turned and walked. And I felt, no, this is the opportunity. As Swami was walking past me, I got up and blocked his path. I blocked his path and I didn't want him to pass without taking the letter from me. So he took the letter and he said, "Dunnapota," meaning buffalo. I was thinking, you tell me anything you want. Just take the letter and get trapped in my plot. Because once you promise me your Satya Sai, Satya is in your name itself, truth is in your name, you can't cheat me. That is what I was thinking. Swami walked into the Purnachandra from the back entrance, and all of us were now getting up to rush into the auditorium so that we can sit for darshan, because this was the bonus darshan, as I said. At that point in time, one of Swami's security guards comes asking loudly, Sairam, Sairam, whose is this? Whose is this?" And he's holding a letter in his hand. Can you believe it? Just before entering the door, Swami has dropped only my letter down and gone in. I saw that and I was like, oh my God. And there were some senior brothers consoling me, telling, "Brother, you folded your letter very small, therefore it might have slipped out of Swami's hands." But in my mind, I knew that I was trying the wrong way to outwit Swami. After that, 2 months passed, I could not get the photograph signed. I gave up. In fact, during somebody's birthday, I gifted that photograph to him as a birthday gift. And I gave up hopes of Swami ever signing that photograph. A month later, the darshans were shifted back to Kulwant Hall. The new year began, 2000. The sports meet was held. And during the sports meet, I had got some very beautiful pictures of Swami coming into the stadium in the chariot. And whenever I used to go to darshan, I used to carry some photographs with the hope that if I get a chance, possibly Swami will sign one more photograph. Again, many days passed, no photographs got signed. Finally, I gave up totally. And I said, Swami, if you don't want to sign, what can I do? But then again, one day when I was seated in the portico, Mandir portico, right opposite to the interview room, I had my camera with me and I had gone there to take the photographs of the birthday boys again. You know, whoever is celebrating their birthday, when Swami blesses them, you take a photograph for them to create a memory for them for lifetime. I was doing that. So whenever I would see Swami signing somebody's photograph, I would try to show my photograph with the hope that Swami can sign. But then again, Swami would say, hey, not birthday. And I would gracefully accept it and sit back. But this went on for a few times when one of the people who would walk behind Swami during darshan came to me and said, if you pester Swami like this to sign your photograph every time, I will ensure that you will never sit in the front here. Don't do like this. Now I was totally deflated. That day I just internally folded my hands and said, Swami, I don't think I will ever get a photo signed by you. So I am giving up this desire. I submitted to Swami. And that day, you know what happened? Swami came. Again, I was seated in the Mandir portico with the camera because there were some birthday boys who had requested me to come to take the photograph. Swami came and began to sign the photographs after blessing the birthday boys. And after he signed everybody's, this time I didn't get up because I was scared. I thought if I get up and give a photograph, I'm not scared of Swami. I'm scared that the other person will see me and never allow me to sit in the portico again. Swami finished and he's still holding the marker. And Swami is asking one little primary school boy, any more photographs? And this boy opens his book, digs out one photograph and gives it to Swami. Digs out one photograph and gives it to Swami. Swami signs that. Swami asks, any more? I'm sitting there and feeling, Swami, what is this? Then that boy pulls out a small photograph from his pocket and gives that to Swami. Swami signs that also. And then Swami asks, any more? Anybody else photograph? I was so nervous. I was so hesitant. I slightly opened my book and partially pulled out the photograph, but I did not show it to Swami. At that time, Swami himself looked at me and he said, photograph? I said, yes, Swami. Give. I ran and gave that photograph to Swami. Swami took that photograph and Swami said, can't you come prepared? If you had a pad, it would be so easier to sign the photograph. A pad to support the photograph, you know. I had nothing to say. Swami kept that photograph on his forearm and then signed it with love, Baba. That is the only photograph of Swami I have got. Just a second, I'll show it to you. Yeah, this is it. And you can see Swami's signature here. He signed it. I have laminated and kept this photograph. Of course, this photograph fell on a lamp because of which it got slightly singed and burned, but Swami's hand, nothing has happened. This was the photograph that Swami signed, and that is the day I realized that you can win over God only through surrender and love. Surrender and love. Surrender to his feet. Hold on to his feet. Tell Swami that, Swami, even if you kick me, I will not leave your feet because they are the only refuge I have. You know, when we surrender like that with love, Swami just melts. He melts. He can't do anything else. That is his biggest weakness. And therefore, it's our biggest strength. You know, the day I wanted to share this incident as a blog, I prayed to Swami and asked whether, is it okay if I share this personal experience? On that day, this very photograph manifested Vibhuti on it. And I was so thrilled. In the description section of this video below, you will see I have shared the link to that blog. If you want more details of that story, you can read it there. But well, I would just like to sign off by saying, let us surrender ourselves with all our love, because that is his greatest weakness and our greatest strength. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. So Sai Ram, everyone. Yeah, that is the video, and I think I have exceeded my time by a minute, but that is the message that I thought is very potent for us to hear today, especially being Guru Purnima. When with that, I just want to a good way to not waste time is to make a note of how many minutes you're spending watching or listening to spiritual topics, whatever it may be of your interest. And I think that is a great way to judge our own selves. So so with that, let's end with Om and Three Shantis. Om Shanta Shanti Shanti. Thank you all for joining today. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.